The information in this recording is general in nature and should not be considered personal advice. Please consult a professional and qualified financial advisor to discuss how this information may apply to your personal circumstances. Thanks for listening.
Hi, it's Dane here from Own Financial Planning, and joining me today is Crystal Paduch, Director of Child Support Consultants. And today we're going to be talking about helping parents going through divorce navigate the child support system. So thanks for joining us, Crystal. And could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your business, Child Support Consultants?
Certainly. Thank you very much for having me. So, yes, Child Support Consultants is a business that I established after working within the system, within the child support system for around 12 years or so, and creating a place where people can approach for that extra support and assistance that they might need with their child support, managing their child support in the best way tailored to their family's needs. So we work with clients depending on various ways, depending on where they are in their lives and their particular situation and their needs. So we try to provide first and foremost a collaborative approach where that is possible. It's not always possible for a lot of separated parents to do that, of course, but where possible, we do like to work with parents to set their own terms of child support and determine their own method of managing child support and the financial support for their children after separation, if that's at all possible. We work in other ways as well. So there's other cases where parents may need a more, I suppose, intensive approach in relation to managing the more vulnerable clients that we might have. So those are the parents that are going through separation or maybe even have been separated for quite some time, and they're finding there's issues in relation to financial abuse, systems abuse, emotional abuse, and the child support system, I suppose, being used by their ex-partner to continue that control and intimidation throughout that, after separation, post-separation, I suppose, and providing I guess, representation and advocacy for those types of clients as well. There's other issues that customers may have, and they may be agency-specific issues. So there could be assessment corrections, so inaccurate assessments. There might be issues with people dealing with the agency, behavioural issues, and just assessments not being correct or procedures not being followed correctly and things like that. So we fix issues that they're having with their assessments and their cases as well. And on the other end, we do educational work around child support. So we work quite closely with businesses, so mediators, family lawyers, financial planners, and things like that as well. Where we work, we find that there's a connection with those businesses as well, where we can work together to provide a more holistic support network for our customers as well. But yeah, that's sort of where it all sort of started, was identifying that there was a need for support outside the agency from someone or a team of people that have that expertise specific in that child support field.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And perhaps you could briefly explain how child support obligations are typically determined in Australia.
Yeah, sure. So typically, there's really two options, I suppose. So we sort of touched briefly on the first option, that is where parents set their own terms of child support. So ideally, that's where we would like to see most parents be, where they can be collaborative and they can just have a discussion about what is best for their children and set their own terms of child support in a child support agreement. The second option, and the most common option that separated parents utilise in Australia, is following the administrative assessment that is set by Services Australia Child Support. Now, that is based on a formula which comprises of various different aspects, the main ones being the incomes of both the parents and the care percentages of that the parents have of the children. And that is how it's determined who will pay who what, basically, moving forward. And each year, when people update their incomes, they lodge their tax with the ATO. That information flows through to the Child Support Agency and a new assessment is created. That's the, I guess, standard default method that is used in the system. There are variables there. So there are instances where it may be needed or necessary to depart from that normal way of creating the formal assessment, in which case parents do have options available to them in relation to updating their incomes, updating care percentages, going through departure applications like change of assessment or objections, appeals, and all those sorts of things as well, if need be.
Sure, sure. And if you could imagine, you wouldn't have to imagine, you would experience this all the time, that a recently divorced parent or a parent going through the divorce process is new to the child support system. A lot of emotion, no doubt, and a lot of different voices in their head from family and friends and whatnot. What's your best advice for a parent who's kind of new to the child support system?
Get the professional advice, because it is really important for people going through separation to have that support network and have their friends and have their family and have that support there for them. However, they may not be the best people to rely upon for advice in relation to how to manage child support moving forward. Because, and while, most certainly they're probably well-meaning in the advice that they're giving, it's not necessarily going to be suitable for you and your family, because everybody's circumstances are different. So no two child support cases are going to be the same, and because no two families are the same, basically. So it's really important that you reach out to a professional service, the family, even a family lawyer, if you're going through that process. There are supports out there that you can go to. Obviously, our one, child support consultants, we do that specifically for child support. And we also connect with other family lawyers and things like that as well, if you need that sort of legal advice too. But it's important for that reason to actually get professional advice. It is what I would suggest to do.
Right, right, totally agree. And jumping back to kind of different child support scenarios, how does that work for individuals with fluctuating incomes, like business owners or people in sort of sales roles that it might have a commission-based element to it?
Yes, that there are options available to most situations. So like I said earlier, the default method is the previous year's income that you lodge with the tax office is used in your current assessment. However, that may not always be the best way to assess someone's child support assessment. So you do have options. You can lodge an income estimate to use your current financial circumstances rather than your last year's taxable income. If you're the other party and you don't believe that the income being used for your ex-partner in the assessment is a correct reflection of their financial circumstances or their earning capacity, then you can go through processes to have a review conducted of your child support assessment.
Yeah, and I would imagine the next question would the answer would be along similar lines, in the sense that if your circumstances change, like you lose a job or I guess losing a job, it sounds like income estimates and or
Correct.
adjustments that way is the way to go. What
Yes.
about forming a new family and having and new children as
Yeah.
part of that new family? How does that influence child support?
It does. A new child will impact a child support assessment. So if you have a new child with your new partner, then you can report that to child support, and that will be considered in your child support assessment calculations. They call it a relevant dependent allowance, a REL-DEP allowance, and they'll incorporate that in the formula that they create for your child support assessment, to obviously take into consideration that you need to provide financial support for that new child as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And kind of continuing on that theme of financial support, you mentioned that you work with financial planners like yourselves, and how does that typically work, and particularly for kind of helping parents who have gone through divorce regain that sense of financial independence?
It's so important. And this is something that I talk about a lot, because it is really important that people, and I will say in particular women and mothers after separation, to regain their financial independence after separation, if it's something that they may have maybe lost during their relationship with their partner. And so that's where I find working with organisations like yourselves, where a financial planner can be really really important, a really important tool to regain that that sense of financial independence moving forward.
Yeah, that clarity is really helpful. We find when we're kind of working with our clients who are going through these situations. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing all of that, Crystal. Some really valuable insights. So how can listeners get in touch with you if they wanted to discuss these matters?
Probably the best way is via our website. So that's childsupportconsultants.com.au. So we have different ways you can reach out to us. We do have a free 15-minute phone call that you can book a time that suits you. We do have our Clarity package, which is a 1-hour Zoom consultation. Again, you can book that at a time that suits you as well. Or you can reach out to us via social media or send us an email or give me a call as well. All our details are on our website there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Crystal. And if you would like to discuss with us how we work together with Crystal in navigating these sort of highly emotional situations with the focus being on getting really clear on your goals and the financial aspects of that, you can contact us at ownfinancialplanning.com.au. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much.